Coverage of YCS Rimini 2015. First YCS of the season, and we're kicking it off with a bang. On the Italian East Coast, where we have some beautiful weather outside and some great dueling inside. 1,099 players started yesterday morning. Just 32 remain at this point in time.
Yeah, we've lost a lot.
Yeah. I lost Fantasy Yu-Gi-Oh! Where I was predicting that Federico Soppini would win the tournament. He ended up coming really, really close in 43rd place, but didn't make the top cut. Your choice, Peter Gross, who you picked when he was like almost locked in.
Wow.
I'm just saying that.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Peter Gross is in 2nd place.
Yeah. He came here to have fun. He came here to have fun. And
yeah.
He seems to be having a lot of fun.
Yeah. He's like, when we were asking him for an interview on Friday, he's like, "Oh, are you sure? I'm only playing this fun deck."
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But
just a fun deck.
Pair a new deck that not everybody knows, together with the skill of Peter Gross, and he's going to end up on 2nd place after Swiss.
Yeah.
That is how Yu-Gi-Oh! Works. Other players that we've had on our stream before in the past that are extremely experienced and doing well in this tournament. Christopher Nielsen, former Danish national champion, in 11th place. He's playing Shadol, one of the few Shadol players in the top 32. And Joshua Schmidt, former world championship competitor, in 12th place. Ruben Lima from Spain, I always mix it up, he's not from Portugal, he's from Spain. Burning Abyss in 14th place. And Ruben is one of the few Spanish players, we only have like a handful, who made the trip.
Yep.
Who else do you know? You recognize Norman Wilder, I guess?
Yep.
He's playing Tellarknights. And then we got Alexander Hulch from Germany playing Nekroz. And Piran Aski on 28th place, also playing Nekroz.
Yep.
Those are the guys that immediately stood out to me, but maybe I've been missing one or two guys. In 33rd place, former European champion Stefano Memoli. That must hurt.
Yeah.
And then other names that didn't make the cut, just like him, is Merlin Schumacher, Federico Pastore, who we had on the stream yesterday, Eugen Heid, last year's European champion, Zeno Peters, who we had on the stream yesterday. Yes, that was yesterday.
Yep.
And Carl Manigat, who came over from the US, just like a few other guys, ended up on 47th place. So bad luck for him.
Yeah. One of the few UK players, Callum Bilby. We've seen him on stream before.
Right, yes. Good point. All right, those are the named players that remain in competition. Now we're going to take a closer look over the shoulders of two gentlemen that ended up in the 1st place after Swiss. So the only guy that was higher than Peter Gross. And the last player that secured a ticket for the top 32. Those are Daniele Montagnani and Andrea Zanotti. With that, let's take you to the table and take a closer look at those guys. Montagnani, who is in 1st place, is playing Burning Abyss. And his opponent, Andrea Zanotti, went with the blue deck, and he is playing Nekroz. Overall, we didn't finish the deck breakdown for the top 32 completely, but I was looking over a couple of those lists. Like I said, Norman Wilder is playing Tellarknights. Other than that, we have apparently an Inferno deck from Alessandro Campo, a few Shadow decks, like 5 to maybe 8, a few Burning Abyss decks, also like 5 to 8, I guess. One Yangsing, one Ignite player, and the rest seems to be Nekroz. All right, so we got the starting hand of Andrea Zanotti, who's gonna kick things off, start his turn in just a second. The first turn had Daniele Montagnani, who started by setting everything.
Yeah, and summoning the mathematician. So here he uses Liebig. Liebig's effect is that you can special summon a, I think it's a level 3 Dark Fiend from your hand, and its effect's negated, so that's why Graph isn't destroying itself here. All of the Malbranch of the Burning Abyss monsters have the same effect, which is if there's a monster on the field which isn't a Malbranch of the Burning Abyss, then it's immediately destroyed.
Yeah. Who do you think is the favorite going into this matchup?
A lot of people have been, putting these big trap lineups in against Burning Abyss. So the last time we spoke about Burning Abyss, we had somebody playing only around 15 traps or something. This guy's playing 20 traps.
Right.
That's a lot of trap cards.
That is a lot, yeah.
So we got 3 Fiend Grievings, 3 Mind Crushes, really important. Main decked 1 Mistake, a Skill Drain, a Crush card Virus.
That's also a card we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah. It's actually one of my favorite card names. In German, it's
Kartenvernichtungsvirus.
Exactly.
That's exactly what you were about to say.
Yeah, yeah, just not necessarily as well spoken.
Yeah.
So here we go. We see just the one special summon using Liebig because of the Max C. We could have potentially seen a Dante player here if we'd have not seen the Max C come out from the Nekroz player here, from Andrea.
Yeah.
So I think Andrea's just looking at his hand and deciding where he's going to go. So one of the drawbacks to playing Exa, Enforcer of the Nekroz, is that it's a level 5, and if you get it in your opening hand, it's not much use.
Right.
But he has a double hat tricker. Now this allows you to special summon hat tricker whenever there's 2 or more monsters on the field. So he just special summons both of those, and go ahead and makes an Abyss Dweller.
Right. Abyss Dweller, not just good against Nekroz, also very, very good against Burning Abyss.
Yep, so here we see a breakthrough skill straight away on this Abyss Dweller.
To make sure that the graveyard effects are still triggering.
Yep, so that's really important against Burning Abyss because of Graph's effect and the Mathematician effect, because when Mathematician goes to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card.
Right.
That's always a good thing.
And the Burning Abyss player still has a lot of back row disruption with 2 Karma cuts and a Mind Crush, but no cards in hand. So would you have set the Mind Crush and the Karma cut here, like all of them?
Yeah, I think it's not a bad thing.
Okay.
Just yeah, I don't think he wanted to be like blind Trishulud or something, which is always possible.
So sometimes you need to make a less optimal move because it turns out to still be better than...
Like it's more safe.
Yeah. All right.
So he's going to breakthrough skill the Abyss Dweller when Abyss Dweller tries to use its effect.
Right. This is the good thing, or one of the best things about breakthrough skill. Also, why it is so good in the Burning Abyss deck, because when you send it to the graveyard straight from your deck, you still get a use out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So here we see Dante, probably the real core strength of the Burning Abyss deck.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption.
So he's just going to have a quick look. Maybe going into a Downward Magician. No, he chooses not to. So it's using Skarm's effect here. So this is a more optimal way to use that Karma Cut. He's now got a Sir, so if that Karma Cut needs to be used, he can discard that and get the advantage from that Sir's effect.
Right. All right, let's take a look at Andrea Zanotti's hand. He's got not that much searching, actually, when I look at it. Valkyrus, Gungnir, Valkyrus.
No.
Decisive Armor, none of these are searches.
No, it's kind of a
bad hand.
bad hand, yeah, really.
Yeah.
He just has all of the boss monsters and nothing else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Dante's going to, again, just go to town here.
Can he even use the Valkyrus? Does he have any Nekroz cards in his graveyard?
No, I don't think so.
He only went for the clowns?
He just went hat tricker into...
Wow. So
Dweller.
there is the potential that Daniele Montagnani is just going to wrap things up.
He's just gonna,
Montagnani, he's just going to kick, go for another push, big push with Dante's, and that might already be it.
So the concert's starting here. We've got to see a Virgil coming out here.
Ah, that's also pretty strong, getting rid.
He's going to pick all those cards up.
And even interestingly enough, before the card is being popped, he's shuffling up. So for that reason, his opponent didn't see that this was a ritual spell card.
Yeah.
And maybe not 100% sure that he's actually playing against Nekroz, even though it's somewhat fair to assume that most of these guys know what the opponent is playing.
Yeah.
But there are other decks that are running the Clown engine.
Yeah, so should all.
For example, yes.
Clown dolls.
So Daniele Montagnani cannot be 100% certain that Andrea Zanotti is running Nekroz. And that's also a very, very interesting and important thing to take away from this. Sometimes it is very
even just the
It's
small amount of doubt in
Yeah.
his mind can sometimes cause him to
exactly.
not side deck necessarily.
Sometimes it's a really good
everything.
decision to immediately just scoop up instead of showing your opponent this is what you hit.
Yep.
We're always kind of shaking our head when somebody after game one is like revealing his face down cards and he's telling the opponent, hey, look at what else I got here. And the opponent is like, oh, interesting, you're playing this and this and this. Good. I mean, sometimes this can help you, of course.
Yeah.
But more often than not, I think this is going to backfire.
Yep. So let's have a look at these side deck cards here. So we've got double. Is that just one mistake? Yeah, one more mistake to be put in. So that would make that a total of 2 mistakes.
And why do you not max out on mistakes? Why do you not run 2 more copies in the side deck?
He's playing a lot of trap cards already. I think running 3 mistakes is just overkill at this point.
Okay, that would be a mistake, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
what else do we have here? We got Galaxy Cyclones in Montagnani's side deck, Imperial Iron Wall, Maxi, Majesty's Fiend, Space Typhoons. He's not running them in the main deck.
Yeah.
Very, quite typical
Common,
for Burning
yeah.
Abyss, yeah. And then a Black Horn of Heaven.
Yeah. I mean, they play Firelink, so
Yeah.
they worry even less about running Mystical Space Diver in the main. So Majesty's Fiend, we've not actually seen that being played at all this entire weekend. It's a very, very powerful
We've seen a
monster
Vanity's
card.
Fiend that unfortunately didn't do much.
Yeah. So Majesty's Fiend is very similar to Vanity's Fiend. It just kind of locks down a portion of the game. Majesty's Fiend says neither player can activate monster effects.
Right. Very straightforward effect, very powerful effect. Very important to note is that you cannot activate effects, so effects that don't activate, that they are just there, something like a Chinzo, for example, is not affected by Majesty's Fiend.
Yep.
So anything that starts the chain or that triggers is affected.
Yeah.
And
Anything that starts chain.
Yep, and everything else isn't.
Yep.
All right. This time we don't see the very common black sleeves on both sides of the field, which is making it a lot easier to tell those 2 decks apart.
Yeah. Seeing some quite nice lime green.
All right. And yeah, orange, of course.
It's like
who do you
glow
think
in
is
the dark or something.
who do you think is going to be the favorite going into the second game here?
It has to be Burning Abyss. He's going to be able to craft his deck in such a way where it is purely to beat Nekroz.
And isn't there enough that Nekroz can come up with that helps him do well against Burning Abyss?
So he's got the likes of Denko Seka, another Mystical Space Typhoon for all those back row. He's running a double Royal Decree and a Typhoon as well, which probably isn't much help here. Something that's quite strange about this build is he's running 3 deck lockdown. Now that's quite an old card. If I remember correctly, during the second standby phase after activation, it destroys itself, but while it is face up on the field, it's a continuous spell card. Neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing.
Right. Daniele Montagnani starting the second game, 4 face downs, passes play, immediately flips skill drain.
Yeah, so he fears Denko Seka here.
Yeah, that's very, very good play, because sometimes we've seen that the players wanted to keep the skill drain face down and wait for something that triggers, like a Senju, Manju, something like that.
Yep.
But no, instead he immediately flips skill drain. He's holding onto a Raigeki in hand. His opponent, Andrea Zanotti, does not. He does have a Mystical Space Typhoon, so he can get rid of the skill drain if he needs to.
Yeah, really importantly, he has Max C. So I think he's probably going to summon that Decisive Armor. The key part here is that Decisive Armor is going to be able to activate its effect targeting one of the... Ooh, Fiend Grieving. That's nice. But not going to affect this situation. He's still going to Tribute Shuret from hand and summon the Decisive Armor.
Right, but Fiend Grieving, a very flexible card that we've seen from a couple of guys this weekend. Very, very powerful, very versatile.
Yeah,
but
it just allows you to, you know, even just a trap card that sent a Burning Abyss monster from your deck to the graveyard would be really good. But even better, it allows you to disrupt your opponent's graveyard plays.
Did Andrea start with... He didn't start with Bryanak, did he?
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah, but Bryanak get Shuret.
Then I'm wondering why Daniele didn't activate his mistake. Am I missing something?
No. No, that's totally right.
I mean,
And again, he didn't activate mistake.
yeah, that's either one of our volunteers who was adding the contents of the hands or on the cards of the field on the field made a slight mistake there. No pun intended. That was completely accidental. Sorry for that. Or or there's a reason why Daniele doesn't wanna activate it. Did he wanna?
I've no idea. I've absolutely
Like, I
no
really
idea.
don't get it. I'm like,
No, that would have just
no,
outright stopped everything.
yeah. And now he's staring down a decisive armor, and
Why did he not play a mistake?
I don't think there's a.
It can't be a mistake. That's
Yeah, that would be really, really awkward. Or maybe he wants to wait until the skill drain gets hit by an MST, for example, and make sure that the mistake is going to resolve and stay on the field. I'm not sure.
so okay. So
Okay. He's
he's
activating.
activating that, targeting the face down, and then it was a mistake.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
So I don't agree with that. I'm not
no,
sure. No,
not at all.
Yeah.
That was.
I don't know. There was like a little bit like a poker move, trying to bait out some other card from your opponent. Maybe I'm not sure what it was, what he was thinking. Didn't activate mistake, allows his opponent to search, and then gets punished in the worst way possible with the decisive armor.
Yeah, what? I really, really don't understand why he didn't just flip mistake over there.
I mean, there would have been almost an immediate +1, unless the opponent does activate the MST on it. But then he's got his skill drain active.
Yeah.
So like, what's the drawback? Why not activate it?
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. The only possible thing I can think of is that he wanted to search with Scam. But even then, I have no idea.
All right, so
I'm really lost for words.
all right. In any case, it's Daniele Montagnani's turn. He goes for it, Dante.
Yeah, and he's got max
he
seed.
doesn't seem to be like too fussed or anything. He seems to be like, yeah, everything is going according to plan. From what I can tell. So, yeah, maybe he really didn't want to activate the card for whatever reason. Hopefully, we can ask him after the match. But
That's pretty good.
yeah, pretty good card. Reigeki for 1. And there's an attack with Dante. So Daniele Montagnani is now ahead, but his opponent Andrea Zanotti does have a couple of cards in hand. Another Brynek, Reinforcement, Exa, Enforcer of the Nekroz, and Nekroz Kaleidoscope.
Yeah. So we see the Scam Surge just resolving here, and then over to Andrea.
And Daniele does have 1 card in hand. That's a Sir, Mother Branch of the Burning Abyss.
Yep.
So he is somewhat open to a Trishula, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
He does have a Karma card
Yeah, and Torrential.
and a Torrential on the field. But that's not going to stop Trishula from resolving.
Well, he could Karma Cut it, and then it wouldn't resolve.
Okay. That would be good. One good option, best good option. Because he gets rid of the card in his hand.
Yeah, and then so the Chain Links would resolve Karma Cut first, and then Chain Link 1 would resolve the Trishula, and then Trishula would get banished.
All right. Let's see what Andrea is going for here. He starts with a Brynek Surge.
Yeah, he's got a lot of options here. He's got 2 mirrors and access to like everything he possibly needs. You can play Nekroz Kaleidoscope with a Searched Unicorn. Yeah, there we go.
That seems like a pretty straightforward play, and of course a good play,
Yep.
as always. Like the only time, I think this was a good play every time this weekend, unless the opponent has a, was it a Chaos Black Hole? Some trap hole face down.
Void Trap Hole.
Void trap hole, yeah, thank you.
So I think it's going to be Unicorn to get the shirt back, reinforcements of the army, get Klausulus, get Nekroz, Nekroz cycle to get back anything by discarding Shurit, and then Shurit go and get Trishula, and then Nekroz Mirror banish the Shurit for Trishula, and then he's going to get Karma Cutted. I think that's like the next like 10 moves. I'll be quiet now.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a break in the meantime, and then... yeah.
Right, so that's Torrential, but still he's still got Nekroz Mirror left. So he's going to be like, oh cool, he's got one back row. I'm going to play Nekroz Mirror and summon Trishula. He's going to be really sad. He's going to be really, really sad. Because he's got like no cards. I think he may have forgotten the Shurit search because of the Torrential. Or did I just make that up?
I'm not sure. It seemed like there was too much going on for Andrea to...
No, okay, he's searching.
He was just busy doing that, yeah. While he was searching, which we didn't see because it was happening...
out of the camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, play Nekroz Mirror, banish the Shurit, summon the Trishula, get Karma Cutted. I think that's what's going on. Oh yeah, obviously he can search with some mirrors first. Thin the deck down, even though you can't use them right now.
Yeah, always better to have them in your hand rather than in your deck.
Yeah.
When you can get them for free, why not do it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the mirror.
so...
No surprise there.
Yeah, well... Yeah.
Yeah, they are following your script. you can you can apply for a Yu-Gi-Oh screenwriter position.
Yeah, however, he does still have one card in hand because he added one throughout that turn.
And the karma card stays on the field
Yeah.
during the resolution of the chain.
Mm-hmm.
So
If he'd have not, the problem is, if he'd have not added with Dante,
then it's obvious.
it's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay because he still Karma Cuts and he still gets to use the effect of Seer. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the wording on the Malbranches, but potentially in a situation like this, if he banishes the one that he just sent with Karma Cut, it might not activate because it's not in the position that it's resolving good. Well, I don't know how they're ruling it at this event, to be honest.
Okay. Well, he's resolving the effect.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, he didn't pick the one that he just discarded.
Yeah, there's a Dante coming back. But without its materials, it's a lot less threatening, even though it still has 2,500 death.
Yep.
Which
But the big point behind Dante is that it causes this infinite loop between just get back Sir, summon Sir, if Sir dies, get Dante. When Dante dies, get Sir. Just over and over again.
yeah, one of the backbones of this deck that
Yeah.
gives it so much consistency.
Yeah, you can even dump Downer Magicians on top of that over and over again.
Right.
There's 25 damage. 25.
Yeah, so Daniele finding Sir on top of his deck.
Yep.
Dante and Sir attacking, and back to Andrea Zanotti
There you go.
with the Exa in hand,
Yeah,
the
so he has-
Kaleidoscope and a mirror.
He has plenty of ritual spell cards, but nothing to do with them right now.
Yeah, and even minutes later, the topic on the chat is still, why didn't he use Mistake on the Bryanek? And yeah,
We're wondering as well.
I felt like at some point I was over that, but yeah, it is still confusing to us. Sometimes we're missing something because even though we have a lot of information here, several things going on at the same time.
So he's going to be able to banish the Shurit here to summon the Valkyrus that he got, which is actually this is going to start off a big chain of plays. He can use Valkyrus's effect on Exa, which will allow him to go and search for a dragon type ritual monster from his deck. I think he already played the only dragon type ritual monster which you play, which is the Decisive Armor.
Mm-hmm.
But here we go. Oh, he actually had Nekroz Kaleidoscope in hand, which he searched prior as well, so he's going to be able to do that to get the Unicorn, sending Herald the Arclight. He's potentially going to be able to perform a ritual summon with the Trishula here, but maybe not. We'll see. We didn't see Dweller yet. Yeah, okay, there's Dweller.
There we go.
Yeah, Dweller, Valkyrus over Dante, Dweller over the Seer.
Wow.
tears
very good.
streaming from the eyes of Daniele.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, when you're traveling through the 7 hells, your tears are gonna dry really fast.
Yep.
Okay, what does Daniele draw here?
I think it's an effect veiler. Looked like an ultimate rail effect veiler.
Yeah, there we go. Not exactly the card he needs.
Yep. And Andrea just casually drawing Bryanak. Wow.
Yeah, making matters worse.
Yep, that's over.
There
That's
we go.
super duper over, because he could have used Valkyrus's effect to tribute that great sorcerer and just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it'd have gone
Andrea
from there.
Zanotti able to tie the score against Daniele Montagnani. 1 win each. And this is going to be the crucial game now, crucial duel between those two. Winner will advance to the top 16.
Yep.
Be 1 step closer to have his picture taken in our top 8 profiles. And the loser will feel like, yeah, I came really close, but
Went
in
to
the
the beach.
end, yeah, in the end it wasn't enough.
This is really useful. He's actually... shall I side out? Shall I side out this mistake? He's kind of looking at it as if to say... Yeah, I don't know. Don't want to dwell on that too much, but it was the real cause of his match loss here.
Yeah. All right.
But anyways, we're going to see him. He's having real trouble choosing whether to side out those Chaos Trap holes again.
What do you think?
I mean, I could look down and look and whether there's Denko Sekas in this side deck and give you the correct answer, but like, to be honest, I'd probably keep them in just anyway because you don't want to risk it.
All right. And
So we're here, gonna shuffle up here with the very brightly coloured sleeves going on.
this is a very theoretical experiment, but what do you think? How did that would that game have taken the same route if the mistake would have been activated on the first turn?
I don't want to go straight out and say it, but I'm going to. He'd have just won the game. In all honesty.
Yeah. Andrea saw 1 MST.
If we look at the rest, if you look at the rest of the cards that the Nekroz player drew throughout the rest of that game, he wouldn't have been able to remove the skill drain.
Yeah. That's exactly my point, yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like he would have had the skill drain.
All right. Well, that happens when you mistakenly don't activate your trap cards.
Mm-hmm.
And let's take a look at the third game. Daniele Montagnani wants to draw into those floodgates again.
Yeah.
Early on.
Yeah.
This
And activate them.
yeah, activate them. Don't forget to activate them. Here's a. I saw a Mind Crush in his opening 5.
Yeah, I can see that too. He's got super Mind Crushes. Those are really nice. So Champion Pack 3 or something.
There we go. He's got 2 copies of that. Andrea, on the other hand, has got a Kaleidoscope, Trishula, Unicorn, Shrit.
That's a real shame that he didn't get to go first here. Double Mind Crush is so important.
Wow. Double Mind Crush. Skill Drain, not a bad card. Scam.
Yeah, because whereas now Andrea is going to be able to... He knows he's not playing against Nekroz now, obviously, so he can just... Yeah, leave things lying around on the field.
Yeah, and tell his opponent, here, see how you can deal with them.
Yep. So he's probably going to leave like a Dweller and a Valkyrus on the... Dweller and Valkyrus or something along those lines. But he has the perfect play here. This is like the best opening play that you can make now that we don't have a Laval chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah. It looks like here I'm gaining more advantage and more advantage.
Go over here into this Dagusto Emerald. Dagusto Emerald's going to put back all of those really key cards used by the Nekroz deck, and then he's going to use the effect of Valkyrus to tribute off the Great Sorcerer in his hand, and potentially the Emerald as well. I'm not sure whether he'll do the Emerald, but we'll see what else he's got. Definitely he's going to tribute Great Sorcerer.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, so he tributes Emerald as well.
Right, that monster didn't get summoned. That
Yep.
monster got tributed.
Yep, so he gets Great Sorcerer's Effect. That's going to go get him either a Valkyrus, if he didn't draw one already, and he's going to go get him a Unicorn. So either Valkyrus or Unicorn.
So basically, he's ending up with more than the opening 5 cards.
Yeah.
He's already got 5 in hand and a monster on the field, and a very strong monster at that.
Yep.
He's now left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 5 cards in hand.
Yeah, but still 6 total.
Yeah, 6 total. Yeah. So not just the +1, it's also thinning out your deck, sending some cards that you want to see in the graveyard to the graveyard. So all of that very good news.
Special Libic, normal Scam, over into Dante. Or he might just make... Oh, okay. I was going to try and pretend that he's going to do something that isn't make a Dante. Ooh, we see Majesty's Fiend. Actually, all 3 of those cards were his side deck cards there.
Yeah.
Majesty's Fiend, Imperial Iron Wall, and a mistake.
That hurts. And he's still got 2 Mind Crushes and a Skill Drain.
Yeah, that's really, really important.
Yeah, and 1 more Seer Malebranch of the Burning Abyss in hand.
Yep, and then he's going to add a graph to that.
All right. Is it too little, too late for Daniele Montagnani? Or
No, I think at this point, this double Mind Crush is going to cause absolute havoc.
and what about the Skill Drain? I mean, Andrea does have a Mystical Space Typhoon.
We'll see. So this preemptive Skill Drain not only gets around Denkoseka, but it also forces Andrea's hand here. If he wants to play this Valkyrus' effect at any point, he's going to have to get rid of the Skill Drain first. Now, if we take a look at his hand, he doesn't actually have any ritual spells, but he's going to be able to use Preparation of Rites to get 1 from the graveyard and 1 from his deck using Classless. That's if he goes for Classless. Probably a Bryanak or something.
There is the Preparation of Rites.
Yeah. So he adds a ritual spell from his graveyard as well. The Nekroz Cycle, most powerful of the ritual spells. He drew a Shurit from the last time he was playing the Valkyrus, so we'll see. This is actually really high level stuff here. These Mind Crushes are going to be so important. However, Andrea can just he can just blindly call stuff, but he's not going to.
Yeah, he's not.
It's very possible. So he's going to play Mind Crush.
Yeah, he just waited for Trishula to hit the field.
Yeah, I think he's going to allow Trishula to resolve.
Yeah. Somewhat fortunately for him, he's not losing one of his Mind Crushes, but then again, he's losing a Dante.
He hit the correct card in his hand, because Libic going to the graveyard would have summoned Seer from hand, so I don't know why he's not doing that, but yeah. Okay, Nekroz, he has to play Mind Crush now.
Oh, and he called the wrong card? No, he didn't.
He called the right card, and then he's going to be able to hold that Mind Crush.
Yeah.
Because he knows what is in his hand now. But,
yeah.
That's a total of 56 damage.
And would you have, like, blindly called a Trishula earlier?
No, you'd have hit Shurit, because he was playing Cycle.
Yeah.
So Shurit would have made it so that he had to ritual summon in some, like, super ineffective way. I think he had a Unicorn, which means it'd have forced him to discard Bryanak, Unicorn, and summon Decisive Armor, which is insane.
Yeah. So, is that a play you would have made?
I think I would, purely because
the reward is so big.
The reward's so big, and it doesn't matter if I randomly discard 2 cards. I'd have played both Mind Crushes on chain.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I discard cards because it's a Graph and a Seer.
Yeah.
So just play the double Mind, just play Mind Crush. Yeah, there we go.
That's it. Denkoseka. Oof, from the top.
I don't know. I
don't think it's from the top. Yeah, that seemed like a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, he should have played double Mind Crush there.
Abyss. And it's awkward considering that Daniele Montagnani was the first seeded player after the 11 rounds of Swiss. Yeah. So you normally you would expect him to call these plays correctly to gain an additional advantage.
Yeah, I feel like Yeah, I truly feel like there was some serious misplays during that game.
Yeah.
Some like really key mistakes.
In the first game, it seemed like it was Andrea messing up a little bit. With the Burning Abyss really pulling ahead. The second game, we still don't understand why the mistake has never been activated. And then in the third game, that Mind Crush could have, should have.
Even if he just played double Mind Crush calling Tyler the Great Warrior, he'd have been in a much better position because he'd have been able to just get those cards out of his hand.
Right, yeah. Unfortunately, we cannot hear from Daniele why he played the way he did. And Andrea is also not feeling comfortable talking English to me. And so we're not going to ask him about his plays. Maybe it's nervousness getting the better of them.
I think so. It's the only real answer.
Yeah.
It's a real shame.
I mean, it's much easier sitting here in this chair and trying to make sense of what's happening. Because if you're calling it incorrectly, the worst thing that can happen to you is that the Twitch chat is making fun of you, and I can live with that.
Yeah.
If these guys are messing up, they're going to go home, and then somebody's going to ring the shame bell in front of them and take them through town. And we've actually seen that. Like, some players are coming up to me and they're like, I don't want to get a feature match again because like 3 years ago I made this one mistake, and up until now players are all the way to today, people are remembering this one move and they're calling me out on it.
Yeah.
So that's not a very nice situation to be in.
No.
All right. Other cool matches that we've had, we talked about this briefly leading into this match. We have Christopher Nielsen from Denmark, and I think he was actually going up against Norman Wilde from Germany. So that was Teleknights versus Shadow Clowns. Also an interesting match, but we thought we're going to go with the first seeded player after Swiss. Let's see who won that one. There's a very good chance that we're going to feature the winner in the next round because both Shadow, we haven't seen that in a little while.
Yep.
Saw it yesterday early on, and then after that, not anymore, up until now, I think.
Yep.
And Teleknights, we only saw that once going up against Federico Sopini.
Yeah.
With Federico being extremely unlucky.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that because I picked him and thought that he's going to win the tournament. It was actually the case. He had a unicorn. Actually, Ryan told me this yesterday because we don't have the audio from what these guys are saying on the table. And he said when the unicorn returned like for the fourth time or third time or something, his opponent was really like, there's unicorn, can you not like just stay in the graveyard or something? He was getting really, really annoyed with the card coming back and giving him more and more of a problem. Yeah.
Eventually, it was struck down by a bolt of lightning.
Yeah, eventually, and then suddenly from then on, it was over in just a heartbeat, basically.
Yeah.
All right, so we see the Curse of Anubis hitting Daniele Montagnani. That is if you go almost undefeated or you're the most successful player after Swiss.
Yep.
Getting eliminated, that's a rule that we have established. It doesn't just happen to the first seated player. In the last few events, our scorekeeper Tommy was keeping track of this. And sometimes it was like out of the first 8 players after Swiss, only 1 or 2 prevailed.
Yeah, it was the entire bottom chunk. I think it might have been Euros that it was that. It was like everyone all the way up to 10th place was out in the first rounds of single elimination.
Yeah. So sometimes it's not a bad idea to not end up on first place after Swiss.
Yeah.
More often than not, for some reason, it backfires. Okay, so if that would happen to Peter Gross, who else do you think is capable of taking this tournament?
Okay, so basically you're asking me to pick a backup, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's basically what you're doing. Okay, so let me have a look here. So we've got...
we got Joshua Schmidt. Who's
that's actually what I was looking for. I was looking to see where he was and what he was playing. I think my backup has to be Joshua Schmidt.
Yeah, playing it safe there.
Yeah, I'm playing it safe. But, I picked a Cosmo deck as my first place winner.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, I went with Piranaski after I learned that Federico Sopini's out.
Yeah. So we took some risks in our first picks, but we're playing it safe now because they're already in the top 32.
Yeah. By the way, there's one Ignite player in the top 32. You're going to learn this by the top 32 deck breakdown that we're going to have at some point, not just only on the stream, but also on the written coverage where you can find all of these statistics very quickly. In fact, you can just look at the coverage overview and see all the statistics in one place. Simone Falanga is the Ignite player in the top 32. We would love to feature him. He doesn't like to get featured. Might have something to do with the fact that last time he was featured, he was going up against Nino Zimmermann's Mecha Phantom Beasts, and you might remember how that went down.
Yeah,
So
Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Gustav Max.
yeah, so he might be like, okay, I've had enough with feature matches for the rest of my life. And we're going to respect that wish up until the finals. At that point, we're going to be like, okay, this is it. You got to be featured.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take another pause now. Speaking from experience, the time between top 32, top 16, and so on, basically between all the rounds in the knockout portion of the tournament, do not tend to take as long as the breaks in the Swiss portion.
Yeah.
Very good chance that we're going to be back soon. With that, we're signing off, and we're going to be back with the top 16 as soon as possible. Side and Valence Liturge from